And I want to say that this is Kathleen Gage. We are going live in 3, 2, 1, blast off. We're live. And I've got to make sure that all the buttons are pressed and everything that I need to be doing is being done. It sure looks like it is because we are on the vegan visibility page and it looks like things are definitely working in our favor. Okay, I want to talk today about it's not what happens in life, it's what you do with it. I first heard that many years ago. It was actually going on, gosh, I'm going to say about 36, 37 years ago. I heard it through Tony Robbins. I had become a fan of Tony Robbins, like many people during that time period. And it was during that time that a client, I was in broadcast media at the time, and a client gave me the Tony Robbins 30-day program. And he told the story of W. Mitchell, who is a man who not only was he burned from an accident, it was a motorcycle accident, and he was burned over a great majority of his body, very severe burns, lost his fingers, lost his toes, his face was distorted. And if that wasn't enough, he went through a whole experience where he got his pilot's license and he was out on a flight one day and the plane went down, and actually the plane not only caught on fire, he ended up as a quadriplegic. And so here he had an accident that would have done most people in a few years prior to another accident where he actually ended up in a wheelchair and being burned over a great deal of his body. And it was through that whole process. Now, he didn't immediately jump back and say, oh my gosh, it's not what happens, it's what you do with it that matters. He had to do some deep, deep, deep soul searching and come to terms with the fact that he wasn't dead. He obviously wasn't supposed to die by that point. And so he had a few choices. One, he could live a life of misery through his emotions and his thinking and feel the victim, or he could turn that around to serve him and say, okay, what is the purpose of all this? What is my purpose in all this? What's trying to work through me? And he actually really, I have to give credit to him for coining the phrase, it's not what happens, it's what you do with it that matters. And right now, there is so much going on in the world that we can feel like just one thing after another is happening, and there's not a lot we can do about it. Well, that's true. There are certain things that are happening right now that we just can't do a darn thing about. But what we can do is we can work on our emotions. We can work on our perspective. We can work on the way that we respond to situations rather than react. And one of the things that I did today, there's some things going on for me right now that are pretty overwhelming. I'm not going to get into a lot of detail, but there's some things going on that I'm in a wait and see mode, but I'm also in a situation where I'm having to clean up a situation that by no fault of my own took place, and I have to take care of it. I have no choice, but well, I do have a choice. You always have a choice. My choice could be pretend it didn't happen and it will just get worse. But my choice is to write a checklist, go through that list, contact the people I need to contact, and take care of business. It's real simple. Another situation is something really exciting that's happening in my life, and I'm waiting to hear on a yes or a no on a really amazing opportunity. And part of me is like, come on, hurry up, give me the answer. But I know that part of what I'm learning right now is patience, that it's up to me to be patient. And they're patient. And there's many things in life where we are given the opportunity to learn patience. And oftentimes we try to force it and force it and force it. So what I decided to do when things just kind of came to a standstill on both situations is I decided to meditate. And I actually spent an hour in a very deep meditation of just getting myself grounded, releasing any thoughts that weren't serving me. It was a guided meditation by Kyle Cease, and phenomenal, phenomenal man. And he actually used to be a comedian. He now does a lot on mindset, on meditation, on life purpose, things of that nature. And one of the things that occurred to me during my meditation is that was probably the best use of my time because it got me grounded. It got me in the space of gratitude. And I actually have my little rock here that I keep on my desk. It's my gratitude rock. And I've got my running clothes on because I'm going to go on a run. It's about 65 degrees and we haven't had this kind of weather in a while. And I need to just get out. And even if I just do a slow run, but go out near the river and really let myself be grounded and in the moment. And that's what came up in the meditation is the more that we can stay present in the moment, the more situations work themselves out. Another thing that's really important is to stay really hydrated. And I actually have a bottle. It's a plastic bottle that I try not to buy plastic bottles as much as possible. So I keep refilling this over and over and over again. And I know that when you're in stressful situations, and it can be good stress or it can be bad stress, that it's really important to keep yourself hydrated. Another thing that I do, this is my veggie fruit drink. And in there, I've got celery, I've got carrots, I've got ginger, I've got lemon, I've got green apples, red apples, I've got oranges, I think I said celery and carrots. Yes. And I blend it, or I actually juice those all up. And this is my juice drink. This is the second big glass of the day that I've had. And so what you want to make sure that you do is you keep yourself hydrated with water. That's really important, but also give your body the proper nutrients so that it can deal with what it's going to deal with around stress. Another thing that occurred to me is how much we get glued to social media and how much we get glued to our cell phones and how much we get glued to the news. And right now, there's so much going on with the news, especially with Ukraine and all that's happening to the Ukrainian people. And it's devastating. And it really makes me think of my own mother, who was in Belgium during World War II. She was occupied by the Nazis, and she and her family used to hide Jews in their basement. And her uncle actually was in the underground resistance and had been killed by the Nazis. He actually had his head cut off. That was kind of sending a warning to people, I guess. Everything they did was about sending a warning to people. And we're seeing this happen again. And there's things that we want to do, things that we're able to do, and things that we're not able to do. One of the things that people want to do is they want to give financial support, and you have to be really careful with that because there's already scammers that are taking advantage of the goodness of other people. So be very, very careful where you're sending your money. But if you're called to do that, please do that. But again, check the sources. Another thing is turn off the news. We know what's going on, and you can get sound bites. You don't have to be glued to the TV 24/7. And I'll admit, I have been guilty of that because I'm just so shocked with what's going on. But again, it makes me think of what my mother went through. And I was talking to one of my sisters about this recently, of the post-traumatic stress disorder that my mother probably dealt with all her life as a result of being in an occupied country. And I think more than anything, as I go through the whole thing of it's not what happens in life, it's what we do with it. I think I know what I've learned from it is to be even more compassionate than I think I am, and to really focus on that, and to focus on kindness, and to remember to tell people I love them every single day, don't let a day go by. By the way, this is Kathleen Gage, and I just have so many thoughts around what's going on in life right now to do with the pandemic, to do with the divide that's happening in so many communities, to do with the inflation that's going on, to do with the situation in Ukraine, and the fact that we're on the brink of war worldwide, the gas prices going up, and how people are responding to it. If anything, now is the time to pause and then do the next indicated step. Don't just keep doing step after step after step. And again, be careful what you're consuming in mind, body, and soul. And definitely get the nutrients in your body. This came out more orange than it did green. Definitely look at what you're consuming in your your ears, your eyes, what you're taking in through social media. Surround yourself with people that you feel good about. Be very careful of the self-talk that you have. But right now is such a critical time for people to be gentle on themselves and be gentle on others, and definitely be gentle on the animals. And one thing I'm really grateful for is that my love of animals extends into what I do and do not consume. As you know, if you've been following me for any length of time, I am vegan. And that veganism allows me to have more compassion for all sentient beings, because whatever we put into our body, if it's live energy or dead energy, we're going to carry that around. So I really encourage you to look at what you're consuming in your food. Are you consuming dead animals? Are you consuming dairy products, which has a lot of torture, pain, and anguish attached to it? Or are you eating and consuming in a way that it's bringing life and light to you? I know that now is a very difficult time for a lot of people, and yet I know that soon it's going to get bright again. So you're going to need those sunglasses. So the future is very bright based on how we conduct ourselves day in and day out. Number one thing, really be present in the moment. Next, really look at what you have to be grateful for, because right now there are people that they're really struggling to find anything to be grateful for. Not only is the Ukraine situation going on, we're having more tornadoes, we're having flooding, we're having snowstorms that are causing a lot of accidents and destruction. We're having fires again. There's a lot going on, but there's also that peace within, that heart space, where if you take time to go within, as Kyle C. said, it's not about the externals, it's about what's going on internally, and really focus on being present. Take that deep breath. And be present. This is Kathleen Gage, wishing you a blessed day, wishing you a day filled with gratitude, wishing you a day filled with abundance in ways that you can't even imagine possible, and filled with compassion and empathy towards other people. Have a great day.